Hi, welcome to the Craft Channel. My name's Corinne Brad and today I want to show you how to make a quilt block in the design of a Christmas tree, like this one here, so that you can make your very own quilt. This is a tree and star design, but I'll show you how to make the star in another video. But to start with, you need, for your background, 2 rectangles that are 10 centimetres by 7 centimetres. These form those. A trunk that is 7 centimetres square, 2 corner pieces that are both 7 centimetres square, 2 rectangles that are 4 centimetres by 7 centimetres, and then you need 3 7.5 centimetre squares of both background and tree colour, because what these do is they make up your half square triangles. And then you just need 3 more 7 centimetre squares for the middle. So, what am I going to do first? I'm going to simply sew together the bottom panel, which is the 2 rectangles and the trunk. And we put them right sides together, although with this being a plain coloured fabric, both sides are the right side. And we'll just sew them with a straight stitch and a 5 centimetre seam allowance. Not a 5 centimetre seam allowance at all, it's a 5 millimetre seam allowance. There's one, and there's the other. And just finger press that seam to the darker side. So that is your first piece of the block. Now to then build up the layers, you need to make some half square triangles. And I found the easiest way to do this is if you get a soft pencil and a ruler and you mark a diagonal on the back of each of your background pieces. And then place them right sides together with a 7.5 centimetre square of patterned fabric. Pop it in your machine so that that pencil line lines up with the seam allowance line on your foot. And then just to make sure that your finished half square triangle comes out at 7 centimetres, which is what you need to build the block up, I would just move your needle across a small amount, just about 1 millimetre, before you sew that. Sew down one side, take it out of the machine and do exactly the same thing on the other side of that pencil line. When you've done that, if you just cut along the pencil line, and then fold the seam, finger press the seam to the darker shade of fabric. All being well, your square or your half square triangle should come down to 7 centimetres. Yes, it does. You're always better off having a slightly larger half square triangle because you can always trim a bit off. If it's too small, it's difficult to match it up with other squares. Now I'm just going to do the same with these. So I've stitched the other 2. I'm just going to cut these in half. And what I would suggest you do is, rather than make each set of half square triangles per block that you're making, if you know that you're going to make 6 of these blocks to put in your quilt, do all your half square triangles at the same time, because then what you can do is use other fabrics, like I've done here, and you can give yourself a real mixture then of prints that you're going to use on the edges of your tree. So let's just pop them there. So we'll start with a blue one here and a dark green one here to do my second line. And we'll pop these two plain prints in the centre. And again, just put them right sides together. And before you sew this together with your 5mm seam allowance, remember to re-centre your needle, otherwise it will be too big. Press the seam to the side that's got less bulk, so away from where you've got your 2 layers of fabric on your half square triangle. So that's the second line of your tree block. And then I've got my last 7cm square. I'm going to put it together with one here. Actually, no, let's have a plain colour there. And a spotty. No, let's have another light colour there. And join these. Now, obviously, because you've only sewn 3 7cm squares together, it's not going to be as wide as your other strips, which is where your 2 7x4 pieces come in. And we just stitch them to the edge. So that's your third strip. And then the final row will be sewing together these 2 half square triangles to make a point to the tree. Now, what I always find is when I'm trying to sew fabric together that's got 6 layers all together and it's close to the top, invariably, because I don't change my needle as often as I should do, it tries to chew it into the machine. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start this away from the top without locking it, and then I'm going to flip it over and go back and secure it, because there's more fabric under the back of the foot to help it get through the machine. We'll make that the same width as all the others by sewing a 7cm square of background fabric on the end of each. And that's the final part of your tree block. So all I've got to do now is just sew the strips together. And realistically, you can see how quick that has been. You'll probably find that it takes you longer to cut the fabric pieces than it does to make the block up. Which is why, if you're able to plan your quilt in advance and you know how many blocks you're going to need, it's worth cutting all your pieces at the same time. And the other great thing about this block is because you've got a seam, a seam, a seam, but then you turn it over and you've got a seam, a seam, a seam, a seam. Your seams are staggered. You don't have to worry too much about lining those seams up when you sew these strips together. And if you've ever watched any of my demos before, you'll know that it doesn't matter how carefully I try and match seams up, I'll always end up being out at some point. So this block is a real bonus because you won't notice if your seams don't line up, because they're not supposed to. And there you go, that's the last seam done. If I'd remembered to plug my iron in, I'd have given this a good press. But this has come down to 25.5 by 25. But in all honesty, with a press, you can get another 5mm in either direction. And also, I did do this in a hurry. But this is a pressed one, as you can see. And it is relatively quick. So even if you're a beginner, you know, the the act of making half square triangles is really easy, and then piecing it together without having to worry about lining these seams up is a godsend. So that's the tree block. I hope you like it. Nice bright colours, perfect for a baby's first quilt. And if you subscribe to us, you'll get notifications when we put up another video. So I will be doing the star video as well at some point. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.